Hello, and welcome to episode 122 of the Book Wars Pod. That is not a number that you'd normally air horn, but we did it anyway, because fuck everything.
Well, we haven't recorded in a while or something. It's complicated. I don't know. I thought I had talked to Chris, and he was like, "How was camping?" And I was like, "That was 75 weeks ago." It was like 2 weeks ago, but
Yeah, so that was Kristen.
sorry.
I'm Miranda. Chris is also here.
Hey.
Kate wasn't feeling great.
Yeah, Kate's under the weather, so.
And we respect that, which is why we never record. And I don't just mean Kate, I mean all of us.
Yeah.
That is why everything is broken at all times, just to be fair.
We respect Kate's health. We clearly don't respect you, the listener, because we are bringing you a pod with the three of us, but
Pow pow.
Yep.
that sounds like a personal problem for
As
all
always.
of you.
I can't believe she let us do this without her while she was in school.
Seriously.
It was a whole fucking 2 semesters of this fucking bullshit. It's the worst thing I've ever heard. But Miranda, tell the people what we're doing.
Yeah, so, like I said, 122. Today we are wrapping up Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed.
Yep, that's his name.
That sure is. So what is everybody drinking to have this lovely, uplifting chat?
Chris has a Truly. I know
I
we've
do.
said this before, but we finally started doing, now that Chris's and Kate's internet isn't 2 sticks taped together, we've started doing the video portion of this, so spoiler alert.
We say that, but our internet has been garbage this past week and a half.
It's good.
Because
That's what you like to
apparently
see.
everybody just being online all the time working from home has finally caught up with Comcast infrastructure.
Oh no.
So that's great.
Not my Comcast.
But seems to be working for now. I'm drinking a passion fruit Truly.
Passion fruit.
I think it's new. The can is slightly different design. It's got passion fruit in big letters on it.
Okay.
Oh.
Passion fruit.
It's a fruit with passion.
Yep.
It's yellow.
Or of
though,
passion,
being fruit.
depending. Anyway, it's good.
It looks good. Miranda, you're drinking something delicious.
I sure fucking am. So I'm drinking Hell. It's called Hell Lager Beer. Obviously, it is a Hell's Lager from Wayfinder, which is a lovely local brewery. I think they primarily do German-style beers.
Are you
They
sure it's
sure
not
do.
Holocron Brewing?
Yes. Oh.
Wow, okay.
Oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
Pow, pow,
There you go. Got there.
Yep. No, it's Wayfinder. They've got a little trident
Yes.
as their logo. It's super cool. Lovely patio.
Oh, it's so good.
We
it's
love them.
It's like a fucking deck. It's so
Oh
nice.
yeah, it's amazing.
Fucking
They have
love their
great
spot.
beer. This is fucking delicious.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yeah, it is very good. I was drinking the Breakside Wander Jack, which I don't know whether or not I've had on this. It's a West Coast India Pale Ale, 7.1% alcohol by volume. It's a collaboration between Breakside and Barley Browns. It's called Wander Jack because what's the Barley Brown beer called?
Oh god.
Something with Jack.
I don't remember, but I know
makes
it's
Wanderlust. Hold
Yeah.
on, I'm gonna look.
good. Yeah, is that new?
Pallet Jack. They make Pallet Jack, and Breakside makes Wanderlust, and then they made Wander Jack, and then everyone thinks it's funny because it's such a dumb fucking name. It's new within the last month,
Okay.
but it's very good. They keep running out of it.
That's
so
gonna
if
happen.
you haven't seen it, that's why.
I mean, I haven't been over to Breakside, even though they're 3 blocks away from me.
So you haven't been over to Breakside, it's an arduous journey. And then my backup beer, which I've already opened, is a beer no one's ever heard of. It's called Coors Light.
I hear that those get cold.
The
They do, you can
mountains
tell when the
turn blue.
mountains-
I heard it's cold. Not only is it cold filtered and cold packaged, but it's cold lagered as well. So
Wild.
Are the mountains blue?
Yeah, they're bluish. They're probably not. I don't know. It's the limited summer 2020 edition. I don't know what the fuck that means. It's got sunglasses on it. Sure. Made to chill.
I'm sure that's literally the only difference.
Fuck my life. Did anybody have anything good that happened this week? Should we say the collective thing that happened that was good was that like wonderful, great people of color came on our podcast?
Yeah, that was a really fun episode. So
Mhm.
y'all are gonna hear it. Allegedly, this is dropping Tuesday. So if you're listening to this on Tuesday, we didn't fuck up. If that's the case, you should hear our episode on Galaxy's Edge Black Spire by Delilah Dawson on Thursday. We were very blessed to be joined by Rob at Smooth Like Mayo on Twitter, and I know, right? And Mel at Jane_Anon on Twitter. Mel is also the co-host of the Nerds of Prey podcast, and they were wonderful. We talked about the book and kind of the plot as we do, but then we also did a really deep dive into, and by we I don't mean myself because I was not on it, but I was listening.
Me, neither.
We, as the royal we of the pod, also dived into the myriad representation issues, let's say.
There were a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say we both apologize for covering that book and thought we needed to cover that book because it's such a fucking trash fire of racism, but also there's other important stuff that needed to be talked about. So
I know. I'm already not excited for when they inevitably give her another book and we have to decide if we're going to read it or not.
yeah, what the fuck? Like, did she have a book before Phasma or no?
She did way back when they did the canon reset. And then I swear we'll talk about Alpha Squadron. Way back when they did the canon reset, she did an ebook original. And it was called like The Perfect Weapon. It was about the woman in TFA, the like all black leather like skin suit wearing spy in Maz's cantina.
That hot bitch. She was like,
that hot bitch.
Yeah.
the resistance is here.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a shame that y'all couldn't see the motion, the shimmy, I dare I say, that Miranda just did as she was saying that.
I was trying to
No.
exude vibes from her.
Yeah,
Miranda,
no,
who's allergic to
clear on that.
movement.
I was clear on that. But yeah, so she
Sorry.
wrote that.
Oh.
Did she? I just pulled out my copy of. I have so few paper books. Okay, she did write something, and from a certain point of view, what does?
She is in FactPov 1, and she is has been announced for FactPov Empire Strikes Back as well.
I'm just wondering what she wrote because I'm like, I don't remember anything in this book being horrible.
She wrote the one from the perspective of the like
Secrets
elephant
of
faced
Long
spy.
Snoot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Oh.
which was fine.
Oh, I didn't really care about that one though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what your problem is, Long Snoot? Sorry.
Your snoot is too long.
End story. The end.
Sorry.
So, Alphabet Squadron by Alexander Freed.
By
we
a
were
real
talking
author.
about Star Wars in our defense for fucking once.
No, I do want to follow up on Chris's comments about yesterday's or in 2 days from now episode. It was really awesome.
You guys recorded yesterday, right?
We
yeah.
did.
God days.
They're hard. No, it was really awesome having Rob and Mel on. I hadn't talked to either of them before, and like super cool people, great insights. You know, love to hear black people talk about black representation in books. Next time we can even get a black person to write a book. But
I agree.
On the bright side, our next
Chewie
book
agrees.
after our Black Spire episode, because it's just going to be one episode because we just could not bring ourselves to do multiple, is going to be Resistance Reborn by Rebecca Roanhorse, who to date is the only black Del Rey canon novel writer. That's a lot of qualifications, but she's the only person who has written an adult novel in the new canon who is black.
Yoda agrees.
That's
Oh,
That's
I
an
like to
upsetting place to start our discussion.
I don't know. I like to sound check the soundboard with that one, and then like Miranda
And then also
Chris
just
always,
use it repeatedly.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, it's the only Yoda one that I have.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do
wild.
we need more Yoda ones, though?
No.
What
we're
is he
good.
ever saying? Besides, like, let me die, etc.
Bury your feelings deep down until you murder children. That's what he says.
Yeah, that's his.
Isn't that good
tagline.
advice for us all?
TM. Oh, fuck me. Okay, Kate would have made this episode much better, but sorry, you only have us. Different forms of trauma and the marks left by war is the first point on the outline.
Jumping right in with the segues.
Jumping right into, hey, at least like our first non-outline item was Star Wars related.
It's true.
One in a fucking row. Cool.
But yeah,
Will-
so I'll...
Willie Keys.
Oh, good Lord. Yes. So one thing about this book, and I also have read Shadowfall by Alexander Freed,
Ugh.
which is the sequel, which came out in early June. And it's fucking good is the only spoiler I'm going to give. I'm going to not talk about anything that happens in it for this. We're going to read it, I think, 3 or 4-ish books from now. So stay tuned. But the whole series, to get back to why I was even bringing that up, is basically just one big book about what are the marks left by war and like how does that impact you.
I have
And
a
we've-
bad feeling about this.
Yes, we all have a bad feeling about the Star War.
Not great.
But it's obviously we see all of the different pilots of Alphabet come in with their own trauma. But we also see things still happening in real time. Like it's an interesting thing about this book and this series in particular that we don't just see what was the impact of what has happened before, but we're kind of seeing them be re-traumatized in real time and like develop new emotional scars.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so Will, for example, obviously we have Riot Squadron's kind of slow death by 1,000 cuts in the Oradol cluster, followed by him freaking out over Pandem Nye, and he is just really just not in a good place at pretty much any point in this book, but especially at the end because he just desperately wants to not be fighting. He wants to be doing literally anything that is not fighting. To the point
Yeah.
where he keeps going on like Imperial channels and being like, "Hey guys, what's up?"
How you doing over there? Are you okay? I know. He has
Will
like
is
a
Canadian now.
well, no. I was gonna say he's got a Minnesota hockey mom voice in my head.
Okay.
It's like, how you guys doing? You okay? Anybody need any cookies?
Yeah.
Poor fucking Will. Like, he was such a soft boy to begin with. Like, obviously, it's interesting because I think he's emoted the most in a healthy way of anyone we've seen. Like, he's at least, even if it's not like a normal outlet, even if it's like yelling to people who he's trying to kill on. Yeah, it doesn't sound normal or an outlet when I say it like that. But when we look at him versus the rest of Alphabet Squadron, he's at least like considering his feelings and knows that shit is shitty and like isn't just 100,000% repressing everything, unlike his dumb shit comrades who are like, if I do war better, I can push down my feelings and never feel again.
And
And
then
then they
maybe
all have,
you'll
like,
die.
And then they have horrible PTSD dreams, which we've never seen in Star Wars before. So yeah, it's just all that to say, Will being the one who's like quote unquote handling this the best is the most fucked up thing. One of the more fucked up things about this book.
Yeah,
Because he's not handling it great.
He's literally just like screaming into the void of space.
Yeah. And we're
And,
like, look at him. He's at least screaming into the void of space.
Look at him. He's talking. He's speaking his feelings aloud. Good for you, Will.
But he is like the most, apt to share when they are finally having their weird bonding. And the thing with him is like, and I think we'll touch probably a bit on this later, maybe, but he has been through the war. He's fought. He's young. Like, he is a soft baby. All he wants to do is go back to his fucking planet with the weird dragons or whatever and just, like, be happy and not be constantly at war
And marry his ship.
and, like, be able to process his feelings there. But somehow the war's still not really over. And he's like, or it's like, we killed the Emperor. So,
Yeah,
That's
Will is
it, right?
very. Why
No.
didn't the war end in Return of the Jedi? Is,
Yeah, it's
is
like-
Will's thought.
can I go home now? It's like, we did it.
I'm so
The
sorry.
glue-
He does not know it's called Star Wars.
The glue holding the Empire together has been dissolved.
But is it?
Who's to say?
It was just like a little bit of the glue though. It was just like the super good Gorilla Glue, and then there's still like a bunch of like dollar store brand super glues trying to hold things together.
No, it's
Yeah,
like
there's
Elmer's glue.
like some solid Elmers happening.
Yeah, like that's the fucked up shit. Is that like the rest of the stuff that's left was like stuck to the Gorilla Glue, and then like
Mhm.
who knows what's gonna happen when it starts to all break apart. Nothing
Yeah.
good. The answer is nothing good.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Will too is like he has stayed in the fight this whole time and is just yearning to go home. And so if you look at kind of the situation that he is in compared to Major Keys?
Sure.
Yes, Major Keys. He left the Empire. Like, he kind of yeeted himself away, and then finally he was like, oh shit, I gotta go back to this war. And I think there's something similar there with, you know, them continuing to be drawn into it. But Keys has at least had a bit of a break,
Yeah.
and there's probably a point I'm trying to make, but it is
No,
not
I think
yet
I-
formulated.
I know. I think it's a good point. I think it, like, Keys is in a way he did what Will is trying to do. Like, Will is kind of constantly trying to leave, and Keys, he's not as much of a soft baby as Will, and like he doesn't think that the rebels are people who are really worth reaching out to. At least we don't think so, based on his kind of reaction to them a couple times in his Devon phase. But like he also can't escape it. Like he literally tries to leave and change his name, and no one forces him back because they have no idea where he is.
Yep.
But then he again just voluntarily makes the choice to come back. Again, it's, voluntarily might be a stretch just because the New Republic tried to arrest him for war crimes, but like he does make the choice not to run.
Happens. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with Will before we move on is like he is one of the few people we see expressing survivor's guilt. I'm not trying to make this deep or good, but what it resonated most with me about, and we can cut this if this is inappropriate, but I was like, he very much sounds like a Holocaust survivor in that he was like, I did the most fucked up shit and ran away and fucked people over and did all of the things that I needed to do to survive, and that makes me hate myself. Like, the people who did not survive are the good people, and I am not the good people. And I just found that, like, really was super resonant and just totally hit the nail on the head of, like, what it's like to be in war, which I obviously don't know fucking jack shit about, but, like, having read nonfiction stuff about war, that was something that like totally resonated with me of like that, hey, I'm here, and if the people who were actually good and did the stuff that they were supposed to do were here, no one would be talking about me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really want Will to meet Leia,
Yeah.
because Leia also, like, she suppresses it, but we've also seen just like massive survivor's guilt from her, whether it's back in, when she's a kid, when Kier dies, whether it's obviously being one of the last people on her planet, whether it's even when she's older in Bloodline, kind of being like still really traumatized by the fact that pretty much everybody who she has cared about and fought for to that point, not including Han and Luke, has died.
Yep.
Like, so, and like, I feel like Leia, is forced by male writers to handle it. But I feel like that would like give her interesting perspective. And I hope that she meets Will one day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know that it's gonna happen, but like
That feels like it'd be far too happy for an Alexander Freed thing. But we
I
can
mean,
dream.
or like far too. This is not how war works, and it's called Star Wars, unfortunately. But yeah. Should we move on to more fucked up shit, aka Karen, Aiden?
Honest, I thought you said Karen, and I'm like,
I
who's the
did
Karen
too.
in this book?
It's like, Karen.
Well, yeah.
Aiden would ask for the manager, to be fair.
He
Yeah.
is the Karen. So
He would ask for the manager, but then he would like steal 78 things while they were finding the manager, and then the manager would be like, "Do you have 78 beers in your coat?" And he'd be like, "I don't.
It's
I'm
just a really
very
big
upset
coat."
that someone asked me."
Yeah,
if
he'd be like,
I
I
had
am
exact
not
change.
blatantly carrying 3 cases of beer. I am disabled, and you can't ask me how that impacts the beer, or I will sue you. And he just leaves the store.
Yeah, it's like yeah. He's got so many beers in his coat.
Just a
In the
big trench coat
CVS.
full of beer. Anyway, what's his deal?
Who the fuck knows?
I mean, like, I feel like all of the very fucked up, stupid, drawn out, non important or in universe things we just said about him were also like highly illustrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Karen is just like a bunch of Jack Daniels bottles like put together in the shape of a person.
Yeah, we just have nothing to
No,
say.
yeah, that was great.
I'm
I
not
don't
wrong.
know. That's yes.
Have you guys seen BoJack Horseman?
I watched
No.
one episode once and
Damn
I
it.
was like, this is too fucking real. God damn, I'm depressed.
There's a character who is literally 3 children standing on each other's shoulders in a trench coat,
Oh,
and
God
his name
bless.
is Vincent Adultman. And his hands are like literally like fucking like back scratchers and coat hangers because
God.
and nobody realizes it except BoJack. Like that is what Karen is. Karen is that, but with like Jack Daniels bottles for hands.
I love it. Miranda, we should probably watch that. Or
It's
maybe
very
not.
good.
We should probably go up on our meds and then start.
Yeah, I
it.
was gonna say definitely make sure you're well medicated. But
Oh,
it's very good.
I've been on Wellbutrin too, so
Oh yeah,
There you go,
I
it's
know.
perfect
You're
timing.
you're good.
yeah.
I need
Um,
to ask for more. She's gonna
I-
be like, "Why?" And I'm gonna be like, "Have you looked outside?"
Yep.
And she's gonna be like, "Great point. Here's more." Love my psychiatrist.
But yeah, so like I know we've talked about Karen a lot and like is part of this topic because we last recorded 3 weeks ago and I don't remember where we left it. Who's to say?
What
But
are books? What
also,
is
like,
pod?
We see everything that Karen does, and we see him talking about how Shadow Wing is a direct, clear and present danger to the existence of the New Republic, and the New Republic needs an intelligence service in order to survive and in order to catch them and catch threats like them. But then we also see him do a lot of things that are not in the New Republic's best interest.
Like drink himself to death? What?
Like drink himself to death, like
Literally because the whiskey's in the bottle.
like create a squadron populated by literally no one he trusts.
Listen, Miranda just did a me, and she's saying drinking himself to death because he's actually Jack Daniels. It's a whole thing. I don't know how he drinks himself with his own mouth.
Wait, it's I don't know. just trust the process.
Oh my god.
Let's go Sixers. I'm just laughing because she like left the frame for a minute. Like she was laughing so hard at her own stupid fucking joke that she literally left the frame because she was laughing so hard. So that was good. Chris was making a point.
Oh, it was a good
which
point
he
too.
does, As
I mean,
one
I was
of the
just
people in this
detailing the long
podcast.
list of things that Aiden has done that are objectively bad, just like bad for the New Republic, bad for his squadron. Like literally can't decide who he wants to lead his squadron because he trusts none of them. Is putting them all together literally because they're there. Like
I know.
just-
I love how Hera's like, well, you have this garbage. You have to figure it out. And he's like, but they're garbage. And she's like, shit.
they're the
I
garbage
didn't
you
say
picked,
that they
asshole.
weren't garbage. I just said you had to do something with them.
Yeah. And like and also just the fact that he then spends the entirety of the final battle taking 1/5 of his offensive force off the battlefield in order to dig up dirt on another 1/5 of his offensive force. And then once he finds out that Irika, his squadron leader, is actually like has actually committed war crimes and murdered millions, if not billions, of people, he's like, cool, I own you now. Like not let's maybe dial it back on the leadership opportunities for you, but instead it's a question of now I am even more in charge than I was before because I can literally end your life.
Yeah, it's really weird how much time and money and New Republic resources he spent on trying to like dig something up on his squadron leader because he hates her.
As if like any ex-Imperial hasn't done a ton of war crimes.
Yeah, and
Listen,
like
I'm not here to talk about the war crime spectrum and how bad your war crimes are and how many people you've killed, but like also most of the people who were big players of the Empire who then defected, they've done a war crime or 27.
yeah, and
pretty
like
much. Sorry, go ahead, Burb.
Irika's not super reliable. And she's like, "No, I figured out what we were doing and I stopped." It's like, "Did you?" Because the whole thing about the Empire's following orders, heavy air quotes, and like you really brought her on and thought that she did not commit war crimes
Yeah.
as part of the unit that you're spending all your money trying to track down and not doing any good intelligence work.
Yeah, like sending Nath after Irika is like a pet project within a pet project within a pet project. Like
Pet projectception.
What
Indeed.
like I'm
Joseph
thinking-
Gordon-Levitt is upside down in Aiden's head right now
In a TIE fighter.
in a TIE
If-
fighter.
if Aiden is 17 bottles of Jack Daniels in a trench coat, what is Nath?
Just literal garbage. Literal.
Also
Not even in a
coat.
trench coat, just a pile of garbage that has somehow acquired sentience,
He's got to have pockets for snacks.
but also
So
surprisingly
true.
hot for garbage.
Sentient garbage. Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, I think that's one of the interesting things about this book. And, like, we kind of knew it's like this ragtag team of whatever. But,
it's a
like,
ragtag
over
team
half of them are super fucking shady.
It's a ragtag team of children's alphabet magnets.
Two of them, you're like, I don't fucking trust you. One we know nothing about. There's a soft boy. And then somebody who spends the whole book trying to kill herself in the battles.
I know, and she's like probably the second most stable in the entire squadron at this stage.
Absolutely.
Like it's probably like Nath and then Chas are like the top two most stable people as far as we know at the end of this book.
Yeah. I don't want to expand. I don't want to. what's the word? If Kate were here, she'd be screaming at me about how I used the wrong word. I don't want to, extrapolate. I don't want to extrapolate too much about the rest of the New Republic forces given this squadron. But I don't know that they're okay. I don't know that they're doing great.
I'm sure
I
they're
have a
not.
I think that they yeah. Also I love that Freed did a great job of like being like, "Oh, if it wasn't enough that I put all these garbage idiots together, let's also make none of their ships match, just to remind you that they are totally idiots that don't know how to do things."
But then they wouldn't be Alphabet Squadron.
A B C D E F G. Please don't shoot me down. It's a whole thing.
Oh my god.
Got dark real
Cool.
quick.
Yeah, so I guess the question then, like, with him actively not trusting Erica, with him not trusting really his squadron at all, except like maybe Nath, 'cause he knows Nath will do anything for money.
Oh my god.
Like, what does he accomplish?
I just can't believe Erica's the leader, because
Like,
Hera was like, "Yeah, she's fine. The garbage will do. It's fine." And he's
just
like,
pick someone.
"Okay, but like, I'm gonna dig up dirt on her, and then nothing will change. Is that cool?"
I know. Literally, nothing will change. Like, he doesn't even have demands for her. Like, it's not like he's like, you will put in for a promotion for me and tell Mon Mothma personally how I personally saved the New Republic from Darth Vader's ghost. And like, it's not even like what did he accomplish from that?
Mon Mothma would be like,
I feel
Oh my god.
"That's
I feel
true."
like his dick's gonna like what's it I don't what's
That was a
this
really
thing?
weird place for you to lose your train of thought, Miranda.
Like he's
was
just
like-
making his own dick hard. Like he's
Oh.
like, I have this information.
Listening to Miranda talk about dicks getting hard is the funniest
It's-
thing I've ever.
So,
She's like, "How do I say that he's being self-masturbatory? I don't have
bitch."
those words because
how does this work?
clits only." Clitsonly.com. That's what I'm changing our URL to if we could get it.
It's
Oh
like it's
no.
just
How did I
self-gratification.
ruin the podcast more?
But yeah, no, it's like he's like trying to go on his own power trip for no apparent reason. It doesn't help the New Republic. It arguably hurts the New Republic by destabilizing his squadron even more. And like, it's just, he is out for himself, and I don't even know that he has a goal other than like get more power and figure out the rest later.
But like he as of yet hasn't done anything to like turn that intelligence
She's doing heavy
into
air
anything.
quotes. This is an audio medium.
Like he's got the information, he tells Erica and she's like, yeah. And then nothing happens.
Yeah, like the semi interesting thing about that is like we obviously know the like fucked up story that she told to begin with. That was like, oh, sorry, I'm just belching directly into the mic because I've had 17 beers. I haven't. At this point, I'm just using them to like cool my core body temperature because it's so hot in this fucking office. No, but she's like, I did all of these war crimes, but then I defected on purpose. Instead of being like, I did all of these war crimes and then someone made me defect. I'm like, what are we? I'm sorry. Is this supposed to be a big difference? Is this like a big reveal? Because he's acting like it's supposed to be a big reveal, but the rest of us are like, no fucking duh. Like, we've played that video game that has the Operation Cinder in it. It's not great, and we know she was a part of it for some amount of time. Like, okay.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, is that like the curse of like being an omniscient reader? Like, is that the curse of knowing how terrible everyone in the Empire was? Because like we know that she was terrible because literally the entire Empire was horrible, and we know that from 50 different pieces of evidence.
Yep.
And we know that like this was not the first genocide that they committed. This was not the second or third or fourth or fifth genocide that they committed.
The limit does not exist.
Yeah, like so, but like I don't know, and I guess and presumably we'll see this come into play in Shadowfall, like how their relationship has changed now that he knows the truth. But like I feel like it's supposed to be a lot worse to people who didn't know it than before, because I guess to other people it's like, well, you know, she was an Imperial, but she was just following orders, and once she was literally asked to commit genocide, like then you know then she defected. Like, because I feel like
Once
it's like
she was asked
a
to
lot of
commit
white people
genocide
felt
for the
about
8th
cops
time.
like until like 2 months ago, where they're like, he's one of the good cops. Like, she was one of the good cops, and then when she was asked to murder black people for no reason, she defected. Like, but no, what you come to
but
realize
she
is
did
there are no
murder
good
a
cops
few
or Imperials.
beforehand.
We're keeping things light and fresh on this Book Wars pod as usual.
She did do a quick genocide before hopping over to the good boys.
We love to bring up genocide on the Book Wars pod when Kate's not on here for some reason.
A little genocide as a treat.
Chris, what the fuck? Okay, I'm only going to bring this up because I put it in here as a thing for Kate to talk about because she's smart, but I'm going to do my best hobbled-eyed, have an English minor impersonation of Kate, which is going to be very bad. But something that ties into what we were just talking about is the unreliable narrator piece of it all, which we've talked about before on this podcast, mainly on the wrap-ups. And this toes the line a little bit, and it's interesting because we know more. Star Wars is this interesting thing, right, where it weaves this larger web of information that we all know. So Chris brings up, hey, we know that this is bad because we have read and seen and have other information about the Empire, and know like what really happened in Operation Cinder to a greater degree than like everyone else in this book, even Irika, when we're thinking about it, right? We like know more about what happened there than Irika does in this book. But I mean, in the very beginning, we get this kind of unreliable, we get this flavor of unreliable narrator where Irika is telling the non-murder droid, whatever, what's he called?
Ito.
Ito, yeah. So she's telling him, hey, this is my side of the story. This is why you found me the way that I was, blah, 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 blah. And then we find out shortly after she, like, gives that spiel that, like, she is like, that was some of the truth, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, cool. So we know that she's, like, not a totally reliable narrator, especially because we're hearing her side of the story told through the lens of talking to the rest of the New Republic. And it's just this super interesting thing that I think you can only have in a sort of like multi-storytelling, multimedia, blah, 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 like we have with Star Wars, where it's like we somehow know more about what's going on than not only the people in the story, which would be like a normal like as readers, and then the folks around Irika, like that would be a normal quote unquote normal more typical unreliable narrator situation where it's like, okay, we are getting this information through this person, but we know what she's saying is not the whole story, or we know part of it is a lie, or blah blah blah. But we're like, I would love to know if anyone would be very strange, but if they were like, this is my first entry into Star Wars, like what they thought of this, and like how this fits into their understanding of canon. But we come in being like, yeah, we know about Operation Cinder. We know it was really fucked up. We know it was a shitload of genocide, and we know that like there's more of the story anyway than what Erika's saying, and it doesn't surprise us totally that she's an unreliable narrator. So it's just like it's this mix of unreliable narration and dramatic irony where like somehow the audience knows more than not only the person who's doing the narration but also than everyone else that's like in the story. But we're also like gaining a ton of information about like these specific events. So I just Alexander Freed is a good writer. That's all I have to say. Alexander Freed is a good writer, and we haven't had like this is really one of like the more interesting pieces of literature I think that than we've read on the pod in a long time, as far as just like conventional literature and like what different things are like, what different tools are used, and like how this can be super interesting as someone who doesn't have a ton of information about Star Wars versus like someone who does have a ton of information about Star Wars. I think it's a good book either way, and I think that's such a tell about good writing.
Mm-hmm. And the thing too is like, it feels like Erika's the main character here, but like everybody else is also an unreliable narrator.
Totally.
Like that same thing that you were talking about, where she like tells her side of the story and was like, "That's mostly true." We see that come up again when they're all like camping at the Jedi Temple and sharing their feelings, and they're like, "I'm gonna tell this story." Parts of it are vaguely correct.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's like,
that's a great point, Miranda.
you know, and in that too, like you see that we can't trust them, they can't trust each other. It's a whole fuckload of garbage.
A whole fuckload of garbage as usual. That's the alt name for Alphabet Squadron. A whole fuckload of garbage.
Man,
sorry to
if
make
this is
actual points on this podcast for once in my life, but
How
unacceptable,
dare you?
Kristen. Man,
I-
if this is someone's
I-
first
I
foray
hate it.
into if this is someone's first foray into Star Wars and somehow they found
Why?
their way to this podcast afterward, this isn't actually what most of Star Wars is like. Let's just say that. It is
I thought you were
actually-
going to say if this was someone's first foray into Book Wars Pod, we don't make points usually.
Well, that too. just if this is your first Star Wars and then you found us, and so the
sorry.
combination of Alphabet Squadron and Book Wars Pod talking about Alphabet Squadron is your only foray into Star Wars, just how explain to me the combination of events that led you here.
We would be honored if you would join us.
All right, so last point is, and
Well, we've got a couple more points, I think.
I
Do
just
we?
jumped around in the outline.
Oh,
Sorry.
you
Yeah,
did.
I mean, well, we've got the point about like the structure
Oh,
of the
yeah.
trilogy, but I do want to touch on this really quick.
Yeah.
go for it.
So there is a point to be made here about
Will you be making
Nares.
it, Miranda?
We'll see. Jury's still out. I'm gonna talk and then see what happens.
There is a point here to be made. Let's write in passive voice only.
Very
so-
corporate. Are you going to operationalize your telling of this point?
Yes, it's all about the. Oh, what's that fucking word?
Efficiency?
No, it starts with an S.
Synergy?
Synergy.
Synergy, that's the bitch. No, but like, so we see, one kind of aspect of this when we get the Nares chapters or sub-chapters, but I think this is something we already know from other media. After Endor, obviously, the war's not over, apparently. You
Question
cannot
mark,
sing that
question
Christmas
mark.
song. But like without a unifying kind of like head,
It's not over yet.
it's a fucking free for all. And like we see this in Aftermath, we see this in there was something else, but I don't remember what it was.
There were other books in the canon.
Yes, but like we see this with Ray Sloan, we see this here. Everyone's trying to like take power, but it just ends up with a bunch of splinter groups. And like they're trying to do things, but there's no like unifying message.
Yep.
Or like unifying kind of like there's no common goal.
It's a whole thing.
It's like we're the Empire.
Yeah, we're going back to the glue point. Like we neither have the regular Gorilla Glue or the other Gorilla Glue that was Darth Vader, because they lose not only the person who was puppeteering the whole fucking shit, but also like the little puppet boy, the little puppet boy who was just scaring everyone.
Yeah, and like I think that Nares is very competent. She's obviously good at her job. She has been for a long time. But in this situation, she is Elmer Glue. And she's trying to bring together whatever the other fucker's name is. There was another guy with a big ship. But she's trying to coordinate something.
Big ship
and
boys.
like run Shadow Wing. And like she does have some ideas. Like she goes to that gas refinery planet, which is strategically great, but like what are you going to do from there? You know, there was all this order and now it's a free for all. And I love it.
And then the whole plan, it's almost like it's the whole point to like catch the whole bitch ass on fire. It's almost like it's a strategic something that they accidentally tripped into, which was, have you considered setting the entire planet on fire? Great. Cool. I'm going to have Chris lead this point, even though he's already read the second book of the trilogy, just 'cause he does I'm not going to compliment Chris. One might say
You were this close. You were almost there.
Someone has done a good job not
He got a
presenting
compliment
spoilers,
on the
even if he's read the books. Some might say that about one or more members of the Book Wars Podron.
The Black Spire episode. Rob came to his defense, and we tried to shut that down, but it still got through.
Yeah.
I don't like you either.
But yeah, so like obviously the interesting thing about this book is that we knew from the jump that Alphabet Squadron was going to be a trilogy. Like, you look at other trilogies, you have the Thrawn book, and you have Aftermath by Tim Zahn and Chuck Wendig, respectively.
You also have the prequel trilogy, the regular trilogy.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kristen.
I've heard that.
Have you heard about this trilogy of
If this is
trilogies?
your
Have you
first
heard
Star
about
Wars,
movies?
there are trilogies in Star Wars. Star Wars really likes the number 3.
Yeah, technically the whole Skywalker saga is an Ovech trilogy, so...
Great. Does that mean 9?
Was that a local commercial?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That might be a reference to a local DC commercial
You're the
from like 10
worst
years ago, and I'm so
person.
sorry.
I thought that you were like saying something like smart and a thing that I didn't know about.
I
like,
know, honestly, I did too.
Education-wise,
Oh,
which like
no,
you
no, no.
sometimes do.
There was I don't remember if it was just a local one. It might have been like a Capital One, so commercial or something.
If it had Alexander Ovechkin in it, it was definitely a local commercial.
Yeah, it was fucking
Miranda.
local.
No,
Nobody
he had ESPN
actually cares about
commercials.
Alexander Ovechkin. I don't know. I'm sorry to be the first person to break this to you.
Wait, where? He didn't do any national shit. I've never seen him on a national commercial.
He's in some of the Sports Center commercials.
Okay,
Again,
those
10
don't
years
count.
ago. But no, it's like a triple hat trick. What do you call that? And he's like, an Ovech trick. And that's what the Skywalker saga is.
You're the
Oh, okay.
worst
Thank you.
person I
for
have
coming.
ever met.
Yeah,
to
honestly,
my
I
TED
really
Talks.
thought you were coming in here with
I
like
was
a
like,
high-minded literary
a
term.
9-thing literary bullshit. It's called Novetch trick. Why didn't I know that?
Store that one away in the brain hole. Oh, Jesus. Anyway.
God, fuck you, Miranda. I'm so mad now. I wasn't that mad at you before, but now I'm really...
Anyway, so we read this story knowing that it was going to be the first of a trilogy.
Unfortunately.
How did that impact your reading of it, and what do you expect from books 2 and 3?
More death. Is that fair? It's
yeah,
gonna be
this
sad
feels like I remember
and
back
terrible.
when back around when Alphabet Squadron came out, maybe a few months after. Tom, the one of the editors at Del Rey who
At
works
Darth
on
and
Star
Turnus.
Wars, at Darth and Turnus, tweeted something along the lines of, "We're all, we're doing our, first read of the manuscript for Alphabet Squadron 2," and someone just said the words, "Man, is book 1 the happy one?" So
Not good. Very bad.
I don't like you either.
I've
I
used that one a
mean-
few times, but I don't like it.
Based on what I've read in Star Wars, like, comparatively inoffensive.
I mean, like,
In
lots of
terms of
people
just, like-
died, but no one died, like,
None of the major characters did.
none of them, like, died kissing their lovers or, like, in a very, 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 very upsetting fashion. It was just like, war. Which
It's bad.
movie?
just a lot of almost death and emotional distress.
What movie starts with war exclamation point? Is that episode 2?
That is episode 3.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause the war starts at the end of episode 2,
sure.
after Geonosis.
Episode
Quality,
2. What a movie.
We love it.
quality scroll writing from George Lucas throughout the original trilogy,
War. I
or
gotta
throughout the
get-
prequel trilogy, I should say.
I gotta get war exclamation point on the soundboard.
It's just
'Cause
Kristen
that
reading
is
the
great.
scroll.
Cool. Star
yeah,
Wars
but like
is bad, as is this podcast. That's what you can take away week in and week out when we decide to record.
one of the things that I don't think I read this thinking that it was the beginning of a trilogy. I don't think I ever do that.
Did
but
you not know, or did you?
No,
just
I did know. I just like
okay, I don't know.
I don't like consider it.
Some people
like,
don't know things on this podcast. It's me.
Um,
I haven't read a text in years. Sorry.
My cat is fucking. He figured out that he can play with the big string for the shades.
Oh no.
He's having a fucking time.
I remember the
But-
day when I first figured that out too. It was a good day.
Well, it's a good day. It's fair.
So I didn't read it as like the beginning of a trilogy, and I think part of it is because this very much, and I think this is fairly common, across Star Wars, even in the prequel trilogy, even with The Force Awakens. I feel like there's a certain sense that, the first installment of any trilogy can kind of function as a standalone story. Like, there's not.
You're only thinking
know-
about this 'cause we talked about the Mighty Ducks earlier this week. I know you. That's how
Does
this
Mighty
point
Ducks
came into
2
your
stand
head.
alone as its own
No,
film?
I
yes
put
or no?
this in when we originally started this outline
I'm so sorry.
75 years ago. But we get to the end of this, and Karen has his thing. He's like, I know you were a genocide committer. And Erica's like, you got me. And, I said this earlier, but again, like, great. What happens now? There's nothing that really, like, I mean, like, this is always true 'cause the stories have an end. But, like, they could have gotten through this and been like, we won the planet. Like, that's how a lot of Star Wars books end.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, there's story after it. They still got to do the whole fucking rebellion, but, they won this battle maybe by not dying. Put a nice little bow on it. That's the story. Send tweet.
It's almost as in Star Wars has an episodic nature.
What a concept.
Hey. Love it.
So, Bert, what do you expect from books 2 and 3? Or what do you hope for?
Death. I hope to not cry too much. I expect crying a lot. No,
lot.
I'm interested to see, like, presumably there will still be an Alphabet Squadron. Who's to say? You know, I'm looking forward to see how it grows and develops, and you know, people are gonna die. I want to know what Karen's up to. What the fuck is he doing? Like, does he have an end goal, or is he just like trying to dig up dirt just to have his own little knowledge base? It was the one intelligence related thing I think he did in this book.
And it was a stupid idiot thing to do because it was during something that was actually important.
Pow pow.
Charming to the last.
Anyway, look at that. We did an episode. Wait,
Kristen,
am
you
I
didn't
supposed
say what
to
you
say
wanted
what?
the next books.
No, I can't. It's gonna be horrible, and I'm gonna cry. I don't like it, and I don't like it when all the people I like die, and that's what always happens in these fucking stupid Star Wars books.
Yeah,
And it's not
especially
great.
with Alexander Freed.
Yeah,
You know, the
fuck
one
me.
book that he's a great writer. I love
Alexander
what I've
Freed.
read
I'm
of him.
expecting good writing. I'm expecting to cry
Yeah.
when all the people
like-
that I like die.
You know, we read Twilight Company a few months back. Did anybody survive that book? 'Cause I
We're
feel like the
doomed.
answer is no.
A few did, but yeah, a lot died.
Not great, friends.
Like, by the end of this trilogy, it's gonna be Leia.
We already know that one.
Mon Mothma probably will survive.
Mon Mothma,
She's like sick or whatever later.
Luke
but
isn't.
in like 30 years.
Luke isn't remotely anywhere near Alphabet Squadron, so he's probably safe.
He's being a dumb twink somewhere.
He's
As
an
always.
Octo. No, he's not an Octo yet. That's not what happens.
It's fine.
He's doing legend shit somewhere.
God bless.
Anyway,
Oh,
on
no.
that note, we look forward to Shadowfall. But in the meantime, remember, continue to stay inside unless you're out protesting, in which case wear a mask and be safe and don't get disappeared by government black ops, because that's apparently a thing that's happening in America now.
Yeah, I
uh,
don't think we have any Portland listeners, but if we do, and you're
Be,
going to
be
protest,
extra safe.
please
and
be
fuck shit
extra
up.
safe. 'Cause fuck everything.
Next
Also,
episode.
None of us are looking forward to the next book.
Well,
I am.
y'all
but-
already read the next book, so your next book is Resistance Reborn. Anyway, our next episode, as we said at the top, is going to be our single episode on Black Spire with our very special guest hosts, Rob at Smooth Like Mayo on Twitter, and Mel at Jane Anon on Twitter, host of the Nerds of Prey podcast. We are very excited to have them, and we really, really hope that you listen in, because by nature of it not being the four of us, it will be better.
Yeah, much better content than usual.
Yeah. Our next book after that, which we're far happier about, is Resistance Reborn by Rebecca Roanhorse. So you can go ahead and order that one from your local indie bookstore or from your local library. In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at BookWarsPod. Email us, bookwarspod@gmail.com, and rate, review, and subscribe to Book Wars Pod and to the Tashi Station Radio mega feed. It is the best way for people to discover the show and really drag down their intelligence level a few notches. As we have been for the past few weeks, we are asking people not to donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon or give us coffee. Please, if you have money to spare, donate it to one of the myriad racial justice organizations around the country that are doing really great work, looking at 82abolition.com, looking at local bail organizations, and other orgs like that. Our theme song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joby Terra Design. For Kate, who is not here, and for Kristen, Miranda, and myself, Chris, who are here, I lost.
Technically speaking, maybe.
Yeah, I lost the thread on that one halfway through the sentence. Thank you for listening to episode 122 of the Book Wars Pod, and we'll talk to you next week.